Standing ovation.
We must pass school choice this session.
Abbott has long advocated for sending public money to private schools, suggesting that public schools are not the right fit for all students, and not all students can otherwise afford private educations.
Government-mandated schools simply cannot meet the unique needs of every student. But Texas can provide families with the choices to better meet those needs.
The Senate is poised to pass a school choice bill this week under the governor's emergency item declaration. But on day one of the session, the chair of the Education Committee, Brandon Creighton, told us he expected it to pass this session after it failed 2 years ago.
We have moms and dads all over this Capitol ready for their respective member to support that legislation. So overall, I absolutely believe it will pass.
Still, school choice, education savings accounts, or vouchers by any name don't sit well with everyone. Today in Austin, outside of a public school, Texas House Democrats held a press conference to denounce what they see as another effort to underfund public schools.
Greg Abbott is starving our public schools and pushing a private school voucher scam, which will take even more money out of schools like this one and put it in the hands of millionaires and billionaires.
I'm joined now by State Senator Brandon Creighton. He is the chair of the Education Committee, which put SB 2 to the full Senate. Senator, your thoughts on this bill and what it does for Texans?
Yeah, thank you, Tom. We're excited about approaching the Senate floor tomorrow with this legislation that we had passed 4 times off the Senate floor in 2023. We have our votes in the Senate this time around. I feel like we have the support in the House to pass this legislation as well. We're going to be the 32nd state in the nation to offer expanded school choice and one of a dozen states that offers the education savings account. Incredible opportunities weighted and prioritized for special needs kids and income vulnerable students that need help the most. And we're just couldn't be more proud to be offering this school choice opportunity to our Texas families, our moms and dads that need these options and these education pathways so that their kids can succeed in the way that they determine best on their behalf. So we're really looking forward to tomorrow in the debate on the Senate floor.
So I've read through SB 2 and looked at some of the parameters. This is weighted toward low-income students, and there is additional money set aside for those with disabilities. Is that right?
That's correct. 80% of the Education Savings Account program and its funding is prioritized for special needs students and income vulnerable students. And we've been very consistent with that. That was the case last time around in 2023 when we passed the bill several times out of the Senate. And we're putting those students first, as we always do.
And tell me about the amount of money that you're looking to spend on this program. It says a couple of different numbers, a minimum of $2,000. And then if your child goes to a private school that is accredited, then it's $10,000, or for a disabled child, $11,500.
That's exactly right. So the $2,000 number would apply to our homeschool families. If a homeschool family submitted and was eligible and through the lottery pick was awarded an ESA, that's what they would receive through the program. Otherwise, a child, a student moving from public school to a private school opportunity, as an example, would receive $10,000 for the ESA. And if that student had a disability, $11,500. We chose those numbers because we took a look not only at what the average private school tuition in the state is, which would be in the upper 9,000 range, but we also watched closely and paid close attention to the average number that our public school students receive. And that published through Raise Your Hand Texas, that many of the teacher organizations rely on, is an $11,000 number per public school student across the allotments. And Texas Public Policy Foundation actually publishes a $16,000 number. So it's always difficult in this building where you come down on choosing specific numbers and thresholds, but we feel like that's very responsible as a launch.
One criticism has been from those who don't support it that it takes money away from public schools and hurts public schools. Your response to that criticism?
Yeah, my response to that criticism would be Republicans in the Senate and in the House, Governor Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, we wouldn't pass any policies that hurt public schools, right? We have a $96 billion public school funding effort with $8.5 billion new dollars for public schools when we normally are in the $2 billion range of new money for public schools. There are about a dozen states in America that don't have a total state budget of the amount of money, the new money that we're putting into public schools. Separately, this education savings account plan, that funding comes out of the surplus. It doesn't come out of public school funding. And it's very responsible in this large surplus that we have to use it in ways that, just like we're working in ways to help taxpayers recover some of that money, we're also working in ways to help our most vulnerable students in the state to have education opportunities and their parents to have options that they otherwise wouldn't have and haven't had before. So both of those are going to happen at the same time. An incredible lift for our public school teachers, an incredible lift for our public schools, and we're going to have school choice and education freedom for our families that need help the most.